to reach across the aisle. I've been in the minority for 18 years in Hartford. And the only way to get things done for me has been to find common ground with people on the other side of the aisle. And I am firmly convinced that what we need to focus on in Washington is finding solutions which unite us as a people, rather than solutions which divide us as a people. Because solutions which divide us have proven to be no solutions at all. And they've resulted in the paralysis and gridlock that we've been experiencing to our collective detriment for way too long. So the gift of your attention is the greatest gift that any candidate could ever ask to have. Thank you, Susan. When I called Susan, I know you had to rearrange your club schedule a little bit to fit me in, but I want to say thank you for this opportunity and encourage you to ask me questions, and I'll do my best to answer them. And thank you again for your attention. Yes, sir.
The other night I heard on television that the government in the Department of Defense is cutting 150,000 jobs, and President Obama doesn't want that announcement made until after the election. Have you heard that?
John, I haven't heard that specifically, but what I do know is that sequestration, and Wayne may have a better answer.
Yeah, the answer is it was Lockheed Corporation.
Yeah, Lockheed.
It wasn't the Department of Defense, it was the fact that they were looking at the possibility of the Department of Defense cutting back their contracts, so therefore, by law, federal law, they're supposed to be given 60 days notice that their jobs could be eliminated because of that. And that notice has been, they're trying to persuade Lockheed to not send that notice out prior to the November elections because it's that timing. And now it's a big fight as to, oh, I know. And then it also said that if there was any kind of legal ramifications, that the government would cover that. Yeah, and so it's like our tax dollars would pay for that that consequence. And so that came out, I think, in the last couple of days. And you know, all we hear is what we hear. We don't know if it's valid or not, but certainly that's something that I'm sure that the presidential candidates might be talking about tonight.
Tune in.
Yeah.
One thing that is true is that this sequestration process, and in my opinion, Congress abdicated its responsibility when it handed over its powers to this super committee. And then the super committee failed us when they couldn't come up with any resolution. So now we're left with the consequences of gridlock. And the consequences of gridlock are the sequestration thing that we're hearing about. And one of the consequences of sequestration is an across-the-board 10% cut to defense spending. And that will have an impact in Connecticut, where we make Pratt & Whitney jet engines and Sikorsky helicopters and electric boat submarines. So there is some serious work to be done in Washington, D.C. And it's not work that we can afford to put off. It's work that needs to be done straight away. Yes, sir?
Are you optimistic that we're going to be able to avoid going off the cliff?
Well, you know, I'm fearful of going off the cliff because the Congressional Budget Office themselves, they said, if we do nothing, if we allow current law to remain in effect, and we raise taxes on January 1st because nothing is done, unemployment will rise nationwide to above 9%. It's already at 9% in Connecticut, but it will rise to 9% nationwide. And we run the risk of a double dip recession. So my hope is that cooler heads will prevail in Washington, D.C., and Republicans and Democrats will find a way to avoid driving this economy in a direction that will hurt all of us as Americans. thank you for this opportunity. I know that I want to be respectful of your time, and I'll stay here as long as anyone has questions. My number's in the book in Goshen, and you'll probably be seeing a lot more. We did, our campaign has chosen to have our first ad be a positive ad, which I hope is agreeable. My opponent's campaign started right off with some pretty negative accusations, which happen not to be true. The negative is one thing, but when it's negative built around falsehoods, that's disappointing. And yes?
Just a quick question. Do you videotape for presentations?
We,
Sorry.
that's okay. No. Yes, on occasion we do.
So
And
that's not strangely.
no, I've been videotaped since for the last year, and I just try to be polite and introduce the people who are videotaping me.
That's nice.
Common courtesy. And it's part of modern politics. Yes.
I'm just one. How do you go about starting to fix the mess that this country is in? I mean, how do you? I mean, it seems so. It is so big. How do you?
Well,
start
I mean, I think we change Congress by changing its members one at a time. And you know, I'm giving up a job that I love. I love being a state senator. I've enjoyed serving the public in Richfield County for a long time, and it's a job that I probably could have held on to for some time to come. I'm giving it up not because I don't like public service, but because I'm passionate about public service. And I want to take the skills and the values and the relationships that I've built over 18 years of public service and see if I can help change Washington, D.C. I'm an idealist. I'm not an ideologue, but I am an idealist. And I think it's better to become part of the solution, because in my view, if I did nothing, I'd be part of the problem.
One final question. Who's going to win the debate?
Tonight, I am not a betting person, but I think it'll be interesting. So, thank you for your attention. Thank you for this opportunity. And what I would like to do is come back here in January and give you a view of what it's really like under the dome in Washington. So, thank you very much. Thank you.